If it's one of my images that I'm really getting into, like if I don't feel like I'm forcing it, like if I've been creatively inspired, hell, my edits can go all day. I can sort of, if I've got the time, I don't need to focus on anything else, I can spend an entire day on a single edit. If it's something that I'm not enjoying, like if I'm editing, event photography, or if I'm editing, a client video that I'm not particularly passionate about or something like that, I get bored just like anyone else. If I'm enjoying the edits I'm creating, then I can do them for as long as I want. If I'm not enjoying them, I'm not going to do them for very long. Welcome back to Q&A Fridays. Actually, give me just a sec. I just got off a red-eye flight. Hear that sweet, sweet noise? That is coffee. Because I have not slept a single minute of the last 36 hours, and I'm not going to sleep until tonight, because I'm a psycho and I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, welcome back to Q&A Fridays. If you're not already following me over on Instagram, my handle is @_Tom Noske. I usually drop a little bit of a question box about a day or two before this video that you guys can go ahead and ask me questions. But again, you feel more than welcome to go ahead and ask me questions at any time throughout the week, and I'll throw them into this video. But for today, I'm going to keep this one super short and sweet because I am just ready to veg out for the entire day and do nothing. So I want to shoot this video, get it up to you guys, and then probably go up there and have a snooze. Question number 1 is from Zach Ahmadjani. Ahmadjani. It's from Zach. This question's from Zach. Zach, just there. Sorry, mate, that I'm butchering your handle. How many hours can you typically handle editing before feeling like you need a break? It totally depends on what I'm editing. If it's one of my images that I'm really getting into, like if I don't feel like I'm forcing it, like if I've been creatively inspired, hell, my edits can go all day. I can sort of, if I've got the time, I don't need to focus on anything else, I can spend an entire day on a single edit. If it's something that I'm not enjoying, like if I'm editing, event photography, or if I'm editing, a client video that I'm not particularly passionate about or something like that, I get bored just like anyone else. I think the key to not getting bored is to just find stuff that you actually enjoy doing. It's like, I used to get burnt out working 35 hours a week as a personal trainer because I didn't enjoy it. Whereas now I'm working twice as many hours as that a week, but don't feel anywhere near as burnt out because I'm actually enjoying what I'm doing. So I think the key is just like, that's a very deep way of putting this question, but I think the key to that sort of thing is like, if I'm enjoying the edits I'm creating, then I can do them for as long as I want. If I'm not enjoying them, I'm not going to do them for very long. What's your inspiration? From Aliza.Noske. My inspiration comes from a lot of things. My obviously photography inspiration, I have a lot of artists that I really look up to. Someone like Calip, Miles of Color, Carl Shakua, a whole bunch of guys on Instagram. Hell, Ben Mack, all my mates up in Sydney, Hayden Peterson, North Borders, Seventh Theory, those guys. I have a whole bunch of inspirations creatively, specifically on Instagram. But I actually find a lot of inspiration through other forms of art. I was heavily inspired by, when I was younger especially, because I used to paint and draw, I used to be heavily inspired by surrealist painters and artists. I thought the surrealism movement was absolutely incredible. I also used to get heavily inspired by hyper-realistic portraiture. So, those like speed drawing edits on YouTube of people drawing, those are my absolute guilty pleasure. Like, I love those things. But what's his name? God, I can't remember the artist's name. I'll try and find the artist and I'll chuck him down in the description. But his work is incredible. I might even overlay a few examples if I can find it. I can't promise I'll find it. It's been years since I've looked at his work. So, but yeah, I find a lot of inspiration everywhere. And then the other thing as well is my videography. I actually find a lot of inspiration from Netflix. Not necessarily binging Netflix, but shows like Mindhunter and all those sort of like very niche Black Mirror. Those shows that work very heavily on the cinematography to tell their story. I find that, with YouTube and that sort of stuff, and with travel filmmaking, there is room to sort of put in fluff. There is room to, be, generous with how much you're sort of just putting it in to be beautiful. How many times have you watched a video and you look at a scene that's like a shot over a helicopter? And I've been guilty of it too, but a shot that's just completely outside of the point, has nothing to do with the story, just is there for pleasure's sake. It's like when you watch a show like Mindhunter or Game of Thrones or Black Mirror, they're fighting for your attention. They don't have the time to waste a single frame on something that's not relevant. So I find that very admirable that those shows really focus down to the detail, and I find a lot of inspiration in shows like that. And I also think it's smart to have, that's not necessarily out of my genre or not necessarily out of my medium, but it's out of my genre. I think it's a good idea to find inspiration outside of your direct genre. Otherwise you can end up, sort of just being a copycat. What would you rather, lose a camera lens or shave that sexy beard from 60 summers? I don't actually have that much attachment to this beard. If I lost a lens, that would be like losing a child. I think this beard, I don't know. I've been growing beards for so long that this one's just partly because I'm lazy and partly because I've started looking at myself on camera a lot more and I like the way it looks on camera. I don't know. I like the beard. But no, I don't want to lose the lens. When did you start your journey into videography? From This is Carrington. I started my journey into videography the same time that I started photography. So I started late 2017. So coming up on I think we just passed 2 years that I started. I sort of wanted to start both at the same time just because I was really inspired by, when I first started was right when Peter McKinnon was sort of making his start on YouTube. And that was the first time that I sort of, because I've always been an artist, but I didn't really realize that it was possible for me to make money. I was always told by family and friends and that sort of stuff, like, Tom, you should be an artist. Tom, you should do this. Tom, you should be an artist. But I just always saw it as like, oh, that's great, but I can't make any money. And then I saw someone like Peter McKinnon, absolutely killing it on YouTube. And I was like, oh, okay, like there is actually a chance for me to be an artist. So I picked up a camera and that's history. It's been 2 years. It's been a crazy 2 years. How old are you? From Mary24Lou_. I am 22 years old. I turned 22 in February. So yeah, I feel young still. From Brendan Berngen. I'm so fucking bad with Instagram handles. This show's shocking because it just shows that I can't read. What was your first camera? My first camera was a hand-me-down Nikon that my mum used to use, or was her old camera, and then I bought myself. My first camera that I bought with my own savings was the Canon 80D. I bought that when I started photography in 2017. And the last question, we have to bring it back to a beard question, is from Ben Izzard. How long does it take to cure that perfectly rounded beard? Should I make a beard tutorial? I'm gonna go and get it groomed tomorrow. Should I bring the camera along? I'm joking, I'm not bringing the camera along to my barber. But I go once, I don't know how long this beard's been growing, maybe like 4 months now, 3 months now. But I go once a month to get it shaped up and tidied up, because otherwise my beard tends to grow out. It doesn't really grow long, it grows out. The only reason it looks like this now is because every single month I've had the sides taken down and taken down and taken down. So, yeah, anyway, that's my beard advice for any of you trying to grow beards. The best part about my beard is my dad can't grow one, and my 2 younger brothers can't grow one, and my older brother can't grow one. So I don't know where this comes from. I don't know where these genetics come from, but there is not a single whisker on any of my brothers or my dad. So it's interesting. I get to gloat in their faces that I can grow this big beard and none of them can. Anyway, that has been Q&A Fridays. If you enjoyed this episode, or if you want to get featured in the next episode, head over to my Instagram. It's at Tom Noske on Instagram, and follow me over there. Like I said, I drop a question box about a day or two before the video drops that you guys can go ahead and ask the questions. But if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed any of the videos that I've been putting out on my channel, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the like button and subscribe. But as always, it's entirely up to you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.